All right, guys, sorry for the pause. We now get your attention. We'll now be having Rolflex Recovery coming up to present.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rolflex Recovery, where our goal is to prevent injury and improve recovery.
My name is Matthew Lichtenauer, and I'm a junior here at Carmel Catholic. I'm the CFO of Rolflex Recovery, and I do boxing and jiu-jitsu.
I'm Nick Jung. I'm our company's CPO. I'm currently a junior here at Carmel Catholic, and I play football.
My name is PJ Beagle. I'm also a junior here at Carmel Catholic, and I'm the CEO of Rolflex. I'm involved in cross-country and track. This is our mentor, Mr. Tommy Paddock. Tommy is a 2009 graduate from Carmel and went on to study at the University of Stanford in Dartmouth, where he played football. Tommy is currently the Chief Strategy Officer at U.S. Health Partners and has been a huge help for our company. The problem we have identified is that 50% or more of athletes' games and competitions are away. So what does this mean? Well, most athletes use foam rollers for their recovery. So when they're going to an away game, they oftentimes leave their foam rollers behind because they simply do not have enough space in their backpack. Whereas if they had a home game, they would have access to all forms of recovery.
So one of our first steps in kind of getting our product off the ground was sending a survey out to multiple high school collegiate athletes to kind of give them an idea of their favorite forms of recovery and some of the problems they have. So here we can see that most high school collegiate athletes are sore 2 to 3 times per week. And this is important because when you're trying to play or perform with sore and tight muscles, it increases the chance of injury and you can't play 100%. So next we wanted to find the most common form of recovery. And here in the red, we can see that the foam roller is the most common form. And the two biggest problems that we can see in the yellow red, that they're too big and bumpy, not easy to transport. So we really wanted to focus on those. And so there are multiple types of foam rollers. And the most common type, as you can see here in blue, is one that you lay on and pull out like this. So we really wanted to focus on this type of foam roller that comes with it.
Our customer segment is athletes in between the ages of 15 and 24. For the many athletes that are in here, when you travel on a bus, you'll probably notice how limited the space is. So bringing a foam roller or any other recovery method is simply out of question. So if we were to create a collapsible foam roller, it would prevent further injuries and create more of an advantage for our team. Here at Carmel, we have to travel usually from 30 minutes to anywhere from over an hour, which can hinder the performance of our athletes.
So, as Nick just mentioned with those collegiate athletes, we wanted to reach out to them because their feedback is valuable for 2 reasons. Number 1, as Matt mentioned, they're part of our customer segment. And number 2, they are the athletes that are traveling the most, as we know. So, some of the universities we work with, for TCU, their men's cross-country team, the track and field team at Marquette, the baseball and football team at the University of Alabama, the Loyola Maryland men's cross-country team, the women's basketball team at Bucknell University, and the men's basketball team at the University of Dayton. Our first solution interview was with Chris Owens. Chris is a good buddy of mine and recently went number 3 overall in the XFL draft. He just spent some time in the NFL as well and graduated from the University of Alabama. At Alabama, he was the starting center for the football team, so we saw him as the ideal candidate to interview because we knew he had experience with foam rollers and other forms of recovery.
In our interview with Chris, we discussed his preferences in a normal foam roller. Being on the offensive line, he would prefer a rough and rigid foam roller due to his heavier set build, since a smooth foam roller wouldn't get into his deeper muscle tissue. After that, we discussed what he would want in a collapsible foam roller and how he packs his backpack. In his backpack, he divides it into the bottom half and the top half. So if he was to have a collapsible foam roller, he would prefer it only goes into one of those sections. As a normal foam roller, like the pink one over there, which he has tried to bring before, it goes into both the bottom and the top half, which has affected him from being able to pack his necessary essentials. And you can see this following problem in this demonstration.
So, following our call with Chris, he did something very important for us. He posted a link to our Google form on his social media page, which is very important for two reasons. Number one, Chris has a large following, so it got our Google form out there for people to give us the data we need. And number two, the people that saw it did fill out our Google form, which gave us even more data. Over winter break, Tommy suggested that we reach out to Jack Bird. Jack is also a 2009 alumni and has an experience in civil engineering. Because he has a background in civil engineering, we saw him as the perfect guy to send our initial 3D model design to for feedback. So, here's a video of our 3D model design, and this is what we sent to Jack, and he gave us 3 things to work on. Number 1 is to bulk up the roller as a whole. So what do I mean by that? He wants us to make every part thicker so that the roller can support more weight and it can be the most effective. And number 2 is to move that support scaffolding you see in the left and the middle to the middle of the roller so that both sides have equal balance. And the last thing he suggested is, as you see in the pipes, there's 2 little pipes going through the middle of the roller. He wanted us to have a support linkage between both sides of the roller. And an example of this would be a string. So when the foam roller is fully expanded, there's tension in the middle of the roller so that when you lay on it, it won't re-collapse.
Getting into our competition, although all these foam rollers over here are definitely in consideration, our main focus is brazing. As you can see, brazing has the mission to have their foam roller packed flat. This was created by a former NFL athlete, and the wood seen inside is bamboo and it is eco-friendly. Getting into the mechanism, as you can see, both sides of the foam roller have a string, and underneath inside the foam roller there is 2 spears. Each string would go onto the spear, which allows it to expand and collapse. When we were going through our first design, we made sure to check their patent, and that was simply on that spear tip of design, which we had no problem with. And the first problem we noticed with brazing was the price. Brazing is typically $68 to $70 for one foam roller, and that's not even counting shipping. So being high school students and even college students, that price can be simply out of range. So although this foam roller is portable, it is not affordable. Another problem we noticed was in their marketing. On the front page, you'll see all these professional organizations he had given his foam rollers to, which could largely be in part of him being a former NFL athlete. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see a woman on a sailboat, and you'll see a man on his desk with a foam roller. It's just confusing, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't think you've ever thought about or used a foam roller on a boat. And if you think of an office, you wouldn't think of the faculty or staff rolling around during a break. So it's just confusing when they show the athletes on the front page and boats on another.
I will now give you some time to look over our mission and value statements. So one thing I really want to point out here in our mission statement is regaining the home field advantage. So I'm a football player, and when I have to go to away games, we sit on that bus for hours, and also I'm not allowed to bring a foam roller from Carmel, and it wouldn't fit in my bag anyway. So after sitting on that cramped bus for a few hours, I get to the game, I suit up, and I get back out on the field. I don't really have time to get properly warmed up, and it takes me longer, just a lot longer to get to 100% in playing. And those athletes that have the home field, you know, they have their rollers, they have everything they need to get ready for the game. And we really want to focus on giving our athletes a chance to regain that home field advantage and be ready to play.
All right, so next is our unique value proposition. We want to offer a reliable and cost-effective foam roller for all athletes. We want to offer 3 different types of foam rollers. As you see over there, there's the knobbed in the gray, the rigid in the pink, and then the flat and smooth in the black. We also want to have different length foam rollers. So as you can see, the black foam roller is pretty long. So we know some athletes like to lay on their foam rollers, while others prefer the pink and the gray because they're smaller and focus on more specific muscles. So we want to offer a wide variety that fits the athlete's needs.
So currently we are trying to find which materials will work best for our foam roller. And so the 2 most common types of foam are the EVA foam and the EPP foam. They're also the cheapest options. We're also going to need to find some type of hard plastic, rubber, or foam that can go in the core of our foam roller for support. And also we're going to need something that can bend the foam roller. Manufacturing. So we were in contact with these three manufacturers for a pretty long time, and we had NDAs signed with Moratech and Bednar. We were in contact with Moratech long enough where they were able to send over some materials so we kind of get the feeling of what our phone will be like in the future. Unfortunately, none of them were able to help us create our first prototype because that first design that we had was just way too complicated. So we didn't help us out.
We want to show you guys some of the materials that they sent us, so we'll just pass them down the line. So first, this is the EVA foam roll. You can see that's like a soft roll. That's the most common type of foam for a foam roller. And then moving on, and this is the EPP foam, which is a little bit firmer. And then these are just the materials that Moratech sent us. So this is like a hard plastic, which Nick was mentioning. We need a little bit of a softer plastic. This is a little firm sponge. And then we've got next the softer sponge that would be the first layer for athletes that prefer the soft foam roller. And then the last one is the solid urethane rubber, which might be put on the inside of the foam roller as I mentioned.
And so after getting turned down by multiple companies because our design was just too complicated and they couldn't make it, we really wanted to take a step back and rethink our design. So we created something like this that'll kind of, fit in the backpack like a computer. And so like it'll roll into a foam roller and it will lock in at the top. I just made this prototype out of some poster board and duct tape. So we obviously want to, have better materials in the future and we want it to be bigger. And we'd also like to add some extra support and have it fold one more time so it's even a little smaller.
Getting into more detail about our customer segment, we went through TAM exam. Our starting figure was 43 million, which is the amount of 15 to 24-year-olds in the United States. We took 43%, which is the amount of individuals who participate in daily exercise, sports, or even recreational activities. And 20% is the amount of athletes that are enlisted in the high school or collegiate roster. As of right now, we have an average unit price of $40, but that is nowhere near definitive. We have just finished that second design, so we have to reevaluate how much of each material we have to use for it to be successful. Those foams are nearly around $1.50 per square foot, and by the time we find a flexible plastic, we'll have a more accurate number in the following months. We believe that we'd be accessible to 75% of the 3,700 because we have a very narrow market, which allows us with opportunities because of how specific our target market is. Where do we want our foam roller to be? We would see our foam roller being successful in a Dick's Sporting Goods, a Walmart, or a Target. Not only do we want our customers to see our foam rollers, we want them to feel them. Because when buying a foam roller, we think it's important that you feel the materials you're going to be using to recover. So having it in store where it can be felt before it's bought would be important.
So one of the next things we really want to do is create a website where we communicate with our customers and possibly sell our product one day. And another thing we really want to get on is social media like Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok because our target market are collegiate and high school athletes. I can guarantee you at least one of them are on the social media platforms.
All right, next up is our MVP. So why did we choose a foam roller? As you know, the three of us are all athletes. So when we were going throughout our daily lives, we recognized that our muscles were getting tight when we were going to those far away games or even coming home from those away games. So it was hindering our performance and putting us at risk for further injury because we did not have recovery on the go. So that gave us the idea, hey, we want to make a collapsible foam roller because if we had it in our backpack, we regain that home field advantage and aren't as sore. Lastly is our future plans and goals. We have 4 future plans. Is number 1, communication. We want to continue communicating with our customers and getting more and more data from our Google form. Which leads me to number 2 is the design. We want to solidify our design and make it even more effective so that it packs even smaller. Which goes into point number 3 is modeling. We want to find that right manufacturer that can build this design and find the right materials. Which leads me to point number 4 is getting out to the customers so they can feel the materials, see the materials, and give us feedback if they like it collapsing, if it needs to go smaller, because all of that feedback will help us grow in the future.
Thank you for your time, and we're ready for any questions.
I'll go ahead and start. First of all, great job, fantastic. Just a couple of things, obviously, this objective today is to give you guys things to think about, not, giving you the relief. And so, first of all, role flex recovery, we need to be clearly defining what the company name is and what the brand is you want to
Great job, Rolflex. Guys, I thought did a great job. Thank you for your insight. Now we will be having premium or prime dog beds coming up to present. Brush File will be coming up. Sorry, guys.
Did you know that you're supposed to clean your Did you know that you're supposed to replace your hairbrush every 6 months? Well, lucky for you, Brushify is here to help you brush more and clean less. But before we get into that, let's introduce the team.
Hi, I'm Tommy Frida. I'm the COO of our company. I'm on the Carmel hockey team, and I'm a part of National Honor Society here at Carmel County.
Hello, my name is Angelina Lagori, and I'm Chief Commercial Officer, and I'm on the varsity tennis team and on National Business Honor Society.
Hi, my name is Jack Del Carmen. I'm a junior here at Carmel Catholic, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer, and I play varsity baseball and basketball here at Carmel.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Wilson. I'm a junior here. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, and I have taken 3 years of business classes here at Carmel, and I hope to continue in college. This is our mentor, Will Selby, and he is co-founder of Selby Media. This is what a typical hairbrush looks like after 2 weeks. Research says that you're supposed to clean your hairbrush every 2 to 3 weeks, and that doesn't typically happen. Did you know that you're supposed to, did you know that you're, did you know that cleaning your hairbrush can cause bacteria and inflammation? Well, this can increase infection and it can cause dry and itchy scalp. Not only that, but by not cleaning your hairbrush can add bacteria that grows on the material inside the hairbrush. People don't clean their hairbrushes properly because it can take a lot of time. To clean your hairbrush properly, you'll need to remove as much hair as possible by using the end of a comb, tweezers, or even your hands. The next step is to wash the hairbrush and soak it in warm water for at least an hour. Next, you'll need to scrub the hairbrush with a toothbrush to remove all the gunk and rinse it. Next, you'll need to sanitize the hairbrush by using a solution of alcohol and water. Then you'll need to let it air dry. People don't typically do this because it can really take a long time, and to do so, and you'll have to pick it out with your fingers. So that leaves you with greasy hands, a dirty hairbrush, and a dirty mess. Our solution is a hairbrush with an insert that is easily removable and replaceable. Our hassle-free solution will allow you to remove this insert and replace it with a new one every 2 weeks for a convenient cleaning method. Today I have with me our initial prototype. We still have some things that we would like to fix with it, but for right now, I'll just go through how it will work. Each customer will receive the base of the brush and 2 inserts every month. The insert will easily pop out once it is full of hair and all dirty, and then you can replace it with a new one and you're left with a brand new hairbrush. I'll pass this around for you guys to see. The first thing we would like to change is the handle. You can feel it feels very cheap and uncomfortable. change is the size and shape of the bristles. We like to make it more of a rectangular shape so we can add more bristles and it is easier to brush our hair. Lastly, our magnetic mechanism is too weak in this prototype, and we need to either use a stronger magnet or a different shape. The bristles are also very bendy, and we think it would be easier if it was a firmer plastic. Next, I'll run through some finances. We would like to use a subscription-based financial model because 86% of 18 to 34-year-olds pay for some sort of subscription. How it would work is on the first month, you pay $15 for the base of the brush and the two inserts, and then every month following, you would pay $8 for just the two inserts. We chose that model because it would be convenient for the customers as they don't have to remember to replace their hairbrush every 6 months, and they can just pop it in every 2 weeks to clean it. Next, I have cost of goods sold. So these are all estimates because we don't have a finished prototype or manufacturer yet, but we have estimated that the base of the hairbrush would cost about $4, the magnets would cost about 25 cents per unit, the bristles would cost about $1 per unit, and lastly, packaging and shipping would be $3. This brings us to a total of $8.25 or 45% profit of $6.75. And lastly, we have some startup costs. These would all be costs in the future, such as the LLC, copyright protection, website design, accounting, and the finalized prototype. But for right now, we've spent about $70 on testing out competitors and building the initial prototype.
I'll be talking about our competitors. So for starters, our indirect competitors is the Horizon cleaning sheet. This cleaning sheet goes over your bristles, and after use, you can take it off and throw it in the garbage can with all the hairs in it, so you have a fresh clean hairbrush. They typically come packed with 50 separate cleaning sheets. And then for the next two, I have the Grows Within the Olivia Garden multi-purpose cleaning tool. It comes with a pick, so you can pick the hair directly out of your hairbrush, and then brush your own brush with all the excess hairs. Finally, the Ludwig is a cleaning rake, so you can pick the hair directly off and throw it in the garbage can once you're finished. For our direct competitors, our first one is the most popular on Amazon. It's the quick cleaning brush. It comes with 2 triggers on the side of the hairbrush. So once you're done cleaning your hair, you can press the triggers and pull the hairbrush back, and it should fall off straight in the garbage can. And then the Voice is an electric hairbrush. In the middle of the hairbrush is a rod, so once you click a button, it pushes all the hair forward. It should fall off. But the problem we've seen with this one is it doesn't come all the way out, so it gets stuck at the tip, and it defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do, which is make a hands-free cleaning hairbrush. For the next two is the generic and the Tituba. These are essentially the same model as the Voice hairbrush, except these are manual, just like the one you have in front of you. So you have to push the hairbrush all the way forward in order for it to come out, but again, these get stuck at the end, which defeats the purpose of what we're trying to solve. For the customer complaints we found with these is the first two, you can see they say it's cheaply made, and a lot of these people are scared to drop it in case it's going to shatter, which is like it probably would shatter, considering that 2 of the ones that we tested are both 3D printed. The second complaint is the comfort. It talks about how heavy the hairbrush is and how bulky the handle is on the hairbrush. So people's hands will get tired as they're cleaning their hairbrush, or they just don't feel comfortable cleaning their handle.
The hairbrush market is a 80.81 opportunity for us to get into the market. We surveyed 144 female formal students, and our first question was, how often do you brush your hair? 88% of these females said every day. And then our second question was, how long does it take you to clean your hairbrush? 51% Scarlett stated earlier, we are a subscription-based service, and 86% of millennials hold a subscription to the service. Our marketing plan, so we want to mainly market through social media, and the two main social media we market through are Instagram and Facebook. 90% of millennials use Instagram daily, and 83% have a Facebook account. Ways we'll advertise through these social media platforms are on Instagram using hashtags and keywords, connecting with influencers and making a business profile. On Facebook, using video ads and using the Advantage Plus placements. Some of our future plans are creating a prototype. We already have the prototype, but we want to make a final, professional prototype. Secondly, building a website. A website will be critical to the success of our company, and all things will drive through the website. And finally, we need to identify manufacturers.
Brushify prevents the stress and mess when trying to live your best. Thank you so much for listening to us today. Are there any questions?
It's a great problem that you identify
To start, I would like to introduce my good friends Ace and Moose. These are my two dogs. Ace is black, he is 2 years old. He's a boy, and Moose is a girl. She is also 2 years old, and she is a girl. How many of you guys own dogs? Okay, well, lots of you. That's good. As a dog owner myself, one of the worst feelings is after a long day of school or work when I come home and I see this. My two dogs are going crazy, tearing up their dog bed. The foam is everywhere. It's in my bedroom, it's in the kitchen, it's in the living room, and I know it'll take forever to clean up. So I saw this near the beginning of the school year, and it got me thinking, why do dogs do this? I found three main reasons. They're bored, they have a short attention span, and they're anxious. They have these feelings and behaviors from not getting the attention that they need and that they crave. So without further ado, I'm very happy to introduce Prime Dog Beds, putting your dog in its prime. Good morning, my name is Noah Lamar. I am the Chief Executive Officer here at PDB. I am a captain of the varsity basketball team, and welcome to our MVP pitch.
My name is Michael Curry. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at PDB. I play varsity baseball, and I'm also in National Business Honor Society.
My name is Alejandro Mauricio, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for PDB, and I also play soccer.
My name is Sean Sullivan. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at PDB, and I play varsity baseball.
So as I presented the idea to the group, we decided that we needed more information on how we were going to sell and what we were going to sell. So the first question that we asked mostly Carmel students was color. As we can see, the color didn't give us as much insight as we wanted, and it didn't give us any meaningful data as to pin the color of the bed to start. We're thinking of giving many options. We are not sure yet. Second question is size and dimensions. Most answered 4 feet by 3.5 feet, which is pretty large. At this point in time, we were thinking of having this rectangle dog bed to be our main product. And the third question we asked was price, money. This was sent to mostly Carmel students, and again, this question didn't give us as much insight to the answer as we were hoping, because it was mostly students, and obviously the students aren't providing for the dogs. So most dog beds are around $200 to $250, and the answers were $50 to $100. So again, it didn't give us as much insight as we would have hoped.
All right, so after doing the surveys, we looked into our indirect and direct competitors. So starting with the indirect competitors, the reason why they're indirect is they focus more on the comfort spectrum for your dog bed. So for our main direct competitors, we have Vonabem, that's made by Sherry's, and Moods. So Vonabem, their dog bed is more of a pillow. They can lay anywhere in your house, so your dog can lay for their comfort. That's made by Sherry. Their donut-shaped dog bed is like a dog bed. It's more therapeutic dog bed. So if your dog has arthritis or joint issues, you can use it for them. And then Moods, you put it more in your living room so you can blend it in with your other furniture because it looks more like a couch. So while they lay on their couch, you can lay on your couch. Then next is our direct competitors. The reason why they're direct competitors is not only do they focus on the comfort for your dog, they mostly focus on the durability of the dog bed. So we have Canine Ballistics, Pet Fusion, and Big Barker. So starting with Canine Ballistics, their dog bed has an aluminum frame on the bottom so your dog can't chew through it or tear through it. They put a tarp on the top so your dog can lay on it, of course. Pet Fusion, they want to get across that their material is water resistant or waterproof so that if they urinate or throw up on it, it won't go through to the material. And last with Big Barker, their dog is mostly aimed for bigger dogs, and they want to get across that they have a military fabric that your dogs can't claw or tear through. So with some negative reviews from these companies, or direct competitors, here's the picture of the Canine Ballistics dog bed. You can see the aluminum frame with the dog on it. So that the reviews want to say how it's not really big or good for big dogs. So they had 2 Great Danes and they used it only for a couple of days and they tore straight through it. And next, the other person is talking about false advertising because their pit bull just tore straight through in the first couple of hours. Next, with Pet Fusion, you can see it looks more like a normal dog bed compared to the Canine Ballistics dog bed. The first person actually provided a video on their review showing that they ran the faucet onto the material and showed that actually water did seep through the material, showing it as also false advertising. And the other one's talking about how it's not good for dogs that chew or dig as well. And last, the Big Barker, we see the dog bed as well. they want to talk about how it's not good for dogs with big teeth, which is usually for big dogs, and since they're aiming for big dogs, you probably shouldn't get it because their teeth will tear through it easily, and it's also not dick-proof. They want to get that across as well. So with all the information we got from the surveys, we got from indirects, we got from the direct competitors, we teamed up with Moonlight Lumber, located in Elgin, Illinois, to create and manufacture a prototype of our own. So, both of them are up there. We made a circular one and a rectangular one. First, I want to point out how it's made in the USA. And so I'm going to go into depth with the dimensions. So the dimensions are 3 by 3, 3 feet in length, 3 feet in width, and 4 inches in height, 2.5 inches of it being hard foam, 1.5 inches of being in memory foam. So we picked those foams out because not only is it comfortable for dogs, even humans can wear it if they want to because it's comfortable. And since we're focused on comfort, it can be used as a therapeutic dog bed because dogs, we want to aim for dogs with like, joint issues and arthritis as well. So if they lay on it, it's comfortable for them. So talking more about the material, we cover the dog bed with Oxford material, which is commonly seen at college dorms or seen at hospitals because patients tend to urinate or throw up on their dog or their beds. Sorry, they throw up on their beds, and they use this material so that if they actually do throw up or urinate, you can easily clean it and take it off. So we see that dogs urinate and throw up as well. So we can easily take it off and clean it. And also our mentor, Mrs. Koval, used the Oxford material for her dogs for 10 to 15 years. And every time they urinated or threw up, she easily could clean it. Also, they tried clawing it or chewing through it, and it would never tear. Also, I want to point out how the memory foam stayed bone dry and it never got bad. And then also covering material is organic cotton. We have 2 layers. Second layer would mostly be for like bigger dogs. I also want to point out how the dog beds are heavily weighted because dogs like to pick up their dog bed, and that's how they mostly rip or tear through it. So since it would be heavy, they won't be able to pick it up.
For our target market, we are targeting millennials ages 25 to 40. Since we're targeting millennials, we thought Facebook would be the most appropriate platform to advertise on. Ages 25 to 34 and 23.7% of the platform. We also thought Twitter would be a very important and controversial ad to also add in a millennial platform. Being 25 to 34, and percentage being 26.6 for the platform. We also wanted to add in equal advertisements with young adults, so we thought, why not add in TikTok, which is the biggest platform out right now, which age range would be 20 to 29, and the percentage would be 56% across the platform. Lastly would be Instagram, which is 18 to 25 age range, and 31% platform.
Artan and Sam, over 48 million households own a dog in the U.S. 38.4% of those households own dogs that are larger, more active, will rip through their dog beds. 12% of those households replace their dog bed yearly. An annual frequency of the purchase is 1 per year, and the average unit price would be $169.99. Our customer segment starting figure would be 5.8 million people buy dogs every year. That's 12.8% of that 48 million. And then our total number of units sold would be $6,960, and then the revenue would be over $1 million. Our income per unit sold, right now, our manufacturer, we would have to purchase the dog bed for $80 per unit. Our sell price would be at $170 per unit, and in a year, we would make about $257,000 after plateauing at the 6th month. Our expenses for cost of goods sold, so as I stated earlier, it would be $80 per unit, $3 per packaging. Shipping would be determining the place of the buyer, so where the buyer lives and how far it is from the manufacturer. Our website maintenance, this is an average we looked up on the internet, that would be about $800. And then the total, we would spend about $135,000+ on our goods sold. Our startup cost, this is another average we took from the internet, about $250 to start our website if we had someone do it for us. The LLC in the state of Illinois is $150 if we did it ourselves. We're exploring having a website or someone else do it for us, which would be more expensive. And then trademarking our name, our logo would be about $10 in the state, and that total would round up to about $410 with the numbers we have right now. Our SG&A. So I spoke to Camp Canine, which is a dog kennel or hotel where you can send your dogs, and it's based in Long Grove. I spoke to the owner, his name's Dave, and he told me that he would be willing, he has a lobby where he puts flyers, and he said he'd be willing to put our flyers there to get our name on. So he said he'd do that every 2 months for 100 flyers, that'd be $13.99. Our marketing, which I took an average of, would be about $1,674, and that subtotal would round out to $20,000 a year. Our total expenses would be about $155,000 based on the charts just shown. Our total income would be $257,000, and then the total revenue made once we take out those expenses would be $101,557.26.
All right, and so as for our future plans, so we have the LLC, our website launch, including the pre-orders and more advertisement. So going with the LLC, we're in the process of doing it, getting to about $150 for the LLC, and we've been in the talks of doing it for a little bit, so we want to solidify our company name. Next, we go into the website launch. We want to get more online, so people can see our product online and maybe purchase it. So including the pre-orders. With the pre-orders, we see how many people actually want to purchase it and how much money we actually get so we can put it back into the business and keep expanding. And lastly, the more advertising. We're going to go around to local places in Libertyville or Mundelein, put up posters for our company, and so more people can see it when they go in. And we'll also go to the thing about going to restaurants that you can bring your dog in. So we can also bring our dog in, so we can see if the dog actually likes it, if they play on it or not, and get feedback from the people, and we can get feedback from the dog to see if they actually like it or not.
And to finish up, you can contact us at this phone number. We have an email, primedogbeds@gmail.com, and we have set up an Instagram and Twitter. Thank you very much.
So if you guys want to see the dog, it's right ahead of the article on Oxford Chair Clip. If you want to feel the, or not Oxford.
Mr. Franklin has these microphones. Okay.
I get a test dog for you if you need. My dog prides herself on how speedy she can shred her bed.
Bill, do you want to start?
Sure. Good job, guys. I love the idea. I love the product. I just said I've got a dog who prides herself on how fast she can shred a bed. I don't even buy her bed anymore so this is a great idea. I like it. Look up Kong. Kong is well known in the industry for being the strongest, I believe. But so check out that. One thing else, website for $250 is not going to cut it. Not even close. It's a very important aspect. It's your base out there. And if you do it cheap, it's reflected, and then people will think your product's cheap. And it won't have the capacity to handle what you're hoping to do, and that's doing sales over the internet, right? So keep that in mind. And as far as LLC, talk to a CPA and talk to a lawyer about the benefits of different S-Corp, LLC, sole prop, and which one fits your situation best, because it's different for everybody. So, thank you.
Great. Well, you guys did a very nice job. I thought that the opening, talking about Ace and Moose, I thought that was a good hook. It set up the story. We got to understand what is the problem and what your solution would be offering. So very, very nice job there. A couple of suggestions. I think, I know you had talked about your survey where you went to the Carmel students, right, and you asked the color, the size, the price they'd be willing to pay. I would recommend that you maybe take a step back on that, because those seem like double-click questions, right? When you're kind of getting more into the manufacturing. I feel like perhaps you should be looking at what are the real questions you should be asking to get your product off the market. While cost, size, color is important, you really want to get to the heart of what is the problem you're trying to solve. So I would encourage you guys to look at your surveys a little bit differently, so you can get the data to improve your product and actually, you know, make sure that it's solving the problem out there. The other recommendation is I would just look at your numbers a little bit more. It seemed, and maybe I missed it, but I may have missed the manufacturing costs, so I want those to be looked at a little bit more deeply, as well as your market size. I know that you had outlined like the entire market size, right, and then who owns dogs, but then your target market was really the millennials. So I feel like you're maybe overcalling it a little bit in your overall cost. So I would just say take a look at those again and tighten those up a little bit. But overall, I think it's an interesting concept, and wishing you luck.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, jump right into it. Couple things to keep in mind. Number one, first of all, double check your brand name. If you watch the Super Bowl, Prime energy drink is all over the world. They will eat you alive if you try and copy their name. Also, there's really no reason to not consider other sizes. Small dogs, medium-sized dogs, there are all sorts of sizes out there. I'd even want to consider, look into some kind of an odor control or charcoal layer to it that, because big dogs tend to, just like big people, it's got a big thing going to it. Also, check into monogramming. LL Bean has mastered the concept of monogramming pet gear, and every household I've ever seen has their pet name on a jacket that LL Bean made. So it's a big market, because right now, to Megan's point, you've got this really broad market, but you've got a really small sales channel and a marketing plan. I mean, I would do some digging into some SEO optimization if you're going to go purely on a website-based thing, because, you know, Prime and Premium and dog vets, the pet market's exploding. It's billions and billions of dollars spent. More on the pet. If you go to the animal hospital in Veteran Hills, there's a wing named after my dog. So, because that's how much we put into it. Be careful about only website advertising, because if you've all heard the layoffs lately from Google and all these places, that's because, you know, back in the day, there was a 60-second ad, then it jumped to 30, then it dropped to 15, 10, and now it's 5. They're not retaining those. None of us are that quick to remember a 5-second ad, so be conscientious of what your message is. You're selling something premium. They're not going to just pluck down $150 because you put a 10-second TikTok ad out there, okay? So think about that. And then lastly is, love the idea about the restaurants, Metco. That's absolutely, you walk around to all the restaurants and offer a couple of these up, that's ideal. And then always, I hear it every single day from my clients, you got to have a sustainable manufacturing process.
Can I just add one thing before we turn it over to Dan? The other thing, just to build on kind of the comments that were made, and you had talked about and you had showed the negative comments from your competitors, right? You had focused on the negative. Just to build on, you know, as you're continuing to refine, don't just look at the negative. You want to know what your competitors really kick butt at, because that's table stakes then, right? So you need to not just be looking at the negatives, but make sure you're looking at what your competitors rock at, so that you can come up with something even better, or at a minimum, something that's at parity.
I just echo a couple of the comments. I really like the story and the intro. I got thrown off a little bit when you started to talk about the 3 reasons why the dogs tear it up: the anxiety, the boredom, whatever. And I thought you were going to go in a different way and start talking about addressing some of those. Fine that you didn't, but so I think what we're acknowledging is, hey, a dog is going to tear up a bed, or they're going to try. And so to me, maybe I miss it, but push harder on, okay, here's why our bed is this much better, and probably time to do some testing on can it be torn up, how is it differentiated specifically versus some of those key competitors in the market, because as we said, it's a premium price point, and you have to give people a reason Why are we going to buy this versus, you know, some of the other established names out on the market? But, you know, I think you started to weave those themes through pretty good. And I would just reinforce the notion too, clean up the numbers, you know, the tables where you went through the cost of goods and the startup and the overall profitability. Good to have that flow in there, but you know, when you go through, I think it wasn't clear enough in terms of some of the labeling and some of the flow of the numbers, but overall, very nice job.
Thank you, Jason.
Ladies and gentlemen, dog beds. Now we will be having Closet Cleats present.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good job.
Good job. Thank you.
Get enough?
I feel like Steve Martin plays.
Alright, so we're the Closet Cleats. So it's the first day of winter, I reach the top of my closet to get out my sweaters, and to my surprise, I can't reach to the top. I look around my room and there's no stool in sight, so I pull out my desk chair that moves around. As soon as I stand on the top, I'm able to reach the top of the shelf, except I fall because the chair moves around. The problem with this is the height of a closet is 8 feet and the average height of a female is 5'4", and for a male it's 5'9". This can be a problem because if you can't reach the top of your closet, it'll make it harder to organize, and it can be dangerous because of accidents trying to find a way to reach the top of your closet.
So for our solution here, we decided to go with a closet organization system that also implements height customization. Using a French wall cleat design, we feel like this will be the best way to go about solving our problem.
Hello, I'm Mia Helpers, and I'm a part of Advice Beyond the Classroom here at Carmel Catholic High School.
My name is Veda Coordinator, I'm part of the varsity track team.
I'm Jacob Chage, and I attend Carmel Catholic here, and I play varsity baseball and basketball.
I'm AJ Miller, I'm a junior here at Carmel, and I play golf.
Our business model canvas consists of customer segmentation, survey data, market sizing, prototype, finances, competitors, and company name and logo. For our customer segmentation, we are focusing on homeowners in the U.S. We are focusing on the U.S. market because homeowners in other countries sometimes do not have closets built into their homes, which means they would not be able to use our product. We are specifically focusing on homeowners who are under the average U.S. height, have limited space, and have organization issues. People who are under the average U.S. height struggle the most when it comes to reaching their top shelf in their closet. People who cannot reach the top shelf in their closet sometimes do not use the space, which means they are not utilizing their closet storage to the full potential. Also, people who cannot reach their top shelf in their closet usually end up throwing random items up there, which can lead to a cluttered and unorganized closet.
So we sent out a survey at the start of the school year and didn't get many responses because it was long and the questions were not, people did not want to answer them. So then we sent out a quicker survey that would have quicker answers or questions that people could answer in about 5 minutes. So the first question we asked was to tell us about their closet. So most people tell us about your closet and what annoys you about your closet. Both goes together because they told us that their closets were small, unorganized, or messy. A lot of the people also said that they didn't have lights or they had to share their closets, so all the space was not utilized because they weren't able to reach back there. And then we asked them how much they were willing to pay for fixing their closet. Most of the answers were between $50 to $100, and with a range of $150 and lower than that.
Spruce costs $6.45 for a pack of 100. And then under cabinet lighting costs $2.04 per foot. After we added all the prices together, we came to the conclusion that our prototype would cost around $61.06 to build.
So here I have the prototype. So here, this piece here would be placed on the back of your closet, and here it uses like a French wall cleat design system. French wall cleats are just a different way to hang or hook stuff up. How it works is there's two slanted pieces of wood or whichever material you're using, and they kind of lock into place. Similar to this. So there would be multiple rows, kind of how this one is here. And these different shelves and stuff, you'd be able to just move and lock in any place, any row. And here we have gotten help from an engineering student here at Carmel. His name is Andrew. So he was able to make us a 3D rendering of what we would maybe like our final product to look like. And there in the back, as you can see, is kind of the rows where the French wall cleats would be in the back of the closet. And here is just further showing of how different shelves and racks would be able to go in on the closet system.
So for our competitors, we're looking at only indirect competitors. First off, we have stools or step stools. The main issue here would be stability, especially if you have carpet in your closet, or if you're elderly. Moving on, we have ladders. The main problem with this one is you could tip over due to reaching, like extra reaching if you have to go for something extremely high on the closet. And you could also use a grabber or a reacher tool. In all practicality, these could actually work, except for the fact they have a weight limit, so if you need to grab a pair of boots off the top shelf, you wouldn't be able to do so. You could also end up grabbing many different items, like if they're all bunched together. Not to mention, if you had arthritis, you could struggle with squeezing the different mechanisms. And in closing, when you go home tonight and you go in your closet, I want you to remember all of us and our company, Closet Cleats.
I think those are microphones. I think that's what you said. So first of all, great job. I thought you guys did a really nice job with the setup and kind of pulling us in. Like, this is the problem. We experience this, every day. I thought you also did a nice job learning on the fly, saying, hey, we sent out a survey, it was way too long, nobody took it. So we had to pivot, we learned from that, and here's what we did. So I thought you did a nice job, learning on the fly, incorporating what you learned and making it meaningful for your team. Really just a couple suggestions. I like the idea. I would just encourage you to look at some related worlds. So I know that there's a system like this for garage organization. I'm not sure if they exist for, closets, but I would look at the garage, or they're the exact same French cleat type system. Look at them, understand what issues they're solving for, what problems, what successes they've had. I think that would be a good related world for you guys to check out to implement any of their learnings into your product. And then from a competitor standpoint, I know that you talked about the stools, right, and the grabber. I would just maybe think about like California Closet Systems. There's all of those various closet systems, whether there's, customized or even just at Home Depot. Check those out and see what you can learn from them and how you might be a competitor with them. But overall, really nice job.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. First of all, your customer or your competitor isn't really those things. It's the full-on closet systems like California Closets, Closets by Design, so on and so forth. So a couple things. First of all, we are a shrinking society. I'm a prime example of that. So reaching up is a big deal, and it's frustrating because you have to store things and you have to build it. So you're asking someone to redo a whole wall. The only thing I want you to caution you on is the difference between a garage system, which I have in a closet system. Closet is a place of beauty. So it's gonna have to be fine and almost furniture-esque, because they're gonna want that in their house. But once you master this, you could definitely take this into kitchens and into all homes altogether, because there's really no one has really defined a kitchen cabinet system that's adaptable to the consumers that are buying it. Imagine if you could walk in and say, well, my wife is 5'3" and I'm 5'9", I need this. I'm not Jacob size. No one's in Jacob size. So also make sure that you define the difference between that French cleat and what yours is, because at the end of the day, if you're mimicking that, you're not really developing anything new. You're just copying what's already out there. So rethink it, or at least come up with a catchy name for it. It's a huge opportunity. It is the customization of any form, whether it's furniture or closets or anything, is a unimaginable level of success that could happen to it. Just think it through a little bit further.
Yeah, I think that's the point. The competition, it's rethinking the closet and maximizing the storage space. So just one point of clarity. So you're saying you're going to put these shelves in and better use the space. You're not going to use that space up high, right? You're going to use the wall and put shelves on the wall. Did I get that right? Right? Yeah, so I think the competitive question is, for a homeowner, I have my closet space. Am I going to go all out to a California Closet and redo the whole space, which is pricey? Or am I going to do one wall or one section of the closet and make better use of it? So if that's really the question, I would focus more on that. And it's not, you run the risk of turning off some of your audience by focusing on, hey, this is for short people, right? We're focusing on short people, because it really applies to everybody, right? The solution you're offering is maximizing your space. Don't force people to put stuff in the high, out of the way, out of reach places. Here's a way to maximize the space. Use the full wall, add shelving, add storage. You can leave the big, bulky, the Christmas tree ornaments and stuff on the higher shelf. So I would say you're putting too fine a point on it, trying to say, hey, it's just we're going to segment the population by height. I would sell it to everyone and not limit yourself, and then think through that dynamic. We're not going to offer, or maybe you do think about offering a whole closet redesign, or here are the options. You can do one wall, you can do 2 walls or 3 walls, and here's how it's a modular thing, which kind of goes with the organization, whether it's IKEA or Lovesac, or everybody has the modular solutions to everything now, and giving people those options. But overall, it's a great idea.
Yeah, you're really defining an adaptable closet shelving solution. And by adaptability, you open up your ability to market to everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You can simply cap up to percent. Look, guys.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Simply Camp. My name is Sean Green, and I'm the CEO.
My name is Jared Feldman. I'm with Pen Design.
My name is Nick Herbig. I'm with marketing.
And my name is Michelle Holtenberg, and I'm the CFO.
Growing up, my grandma watched over my sisters and I while both of my parents worked full-time jobs. She would pick us up and watch us after school every day of the week. She was one of, if not the most important people in my childhood, as I loved spending my time with her every day. However, when I was 8 years old, in 2014, I started to notice some changes, but I was not sure what was happening. Earlier that year, she had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, causing her to lose strength, weight, and certain abilities. This change was difficult to adapt to, because I had been so used to her constant care. However, as time has gone on and I've gotten older, I've used this as an opportunity to return to care. I spend my time and weekends over at my grandmother's house, assisting her with whatever she needs. Something I've often seen her struggle with has been opening anything with a cap, whether that be a water bottle or a milk jug. Now, she's not the only person who struggles with this issue, as she is one out of 1 million people in the United States who struggle with Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a disorder in the nervous system, which results in unintended movement. Something often seen with Parkinson's disease are tremors, which is shaking often in the hands. Now, this disease and these tremors can lead to difficulty in many things, especially opening anything with a cap. Now, it's not just Parkinson's that we're looking to assist. Another big one that we've been focusing on has been multiple sclerosis, or MS. MS results in a disruption of communication between the brain and the body. This disruption can also lead to many difficulties, including opening a cap. Now, we believe our product could assist multiple other diseases, including neuropathy, which affects around 20 million people in the United States, and dementia, which affects around 7 million. Earlier this year, we sent out a survey to local nursing homes, as well as others who had connections to people who struggle with these issues. We included a free response question asking what they had witnessed, and here were some of the responses. As you can see, it is a common difficulty throughout all of these diseases to open anything, including anything with a cap. So what is our goal with SimplyCap? Our goal is for our product to be available to whomever it may benefit. In the long run, we hope for our product to be in nursing homes, hospitals, and pharmacies. We created SimplyCap with the intention of giving people with diseases similar to that of my grandmother's a little bit of independence back. Our goal with SimplyCap is to simply make life easier.
Alright, so what exactly is SimplyCap? So up there, that is our prototype of SimplyCap. It is a gyroscopic, self-closing bottle cap that you can screw on to any bottle you want to use, and it will replace the cap that came with it. So how it works is when you take the bottle to drink, when you lift it up to drink, it automatically opens itself so the water or liquid can flow out of it. Once you put it back down on the table, it seals itself so there's no issue or leaks going to happen. The picture on the bottom there shows what the cap's going to look like. Now in the middle of the cap there's a notch, and we're going to put a food-safe silicone in it. Most reusable water bottles have food-safe silicone in them so that when you put the cap on, if it were to tip over, there's going to be no leaks or spills that are going to come out of the bottle. And then there's no direct competition because there's no product like ours on the market, but there are two indirect competition that we have. Those are Carrier Manufacturing and Blackhawk Manufacturing. They're both based in Addison, Illinois, and what they make are bottle caps and liquid container sealants. So how they're indirect is because they're going to make products that are going to compete with ours, but they're not going to do the same thing that ours is going to do.
Alright, so for our SAM and TAM, what we did first, we figured out our SAM. We took the population of Illinois, being 12.6 million people, we narrowed that down to people over 65, and that is estimated to be about 2.1 million people. And then for our total addressable market, we took the population of the United States right now, being 332 million people, we narrowed that down once again to people over 65, and we got about 57 million people. So with that, we narrowed it down even more. We took it for everybody that's currently suffering from Parkinson's or any other motor functional disease, and our current total addressable market is estimated to be at about 1 million people. So for our business model canvas, starting out with a problem. So throughout our research, we really noticed that all these people with Parkinson's, MS, neuropathy, all these kinds of issues that we have discussed, they all have one common issue, and that is that they all cannot open a bottle cap where that might be otherwise easier for other people to do for them. So with that, our customer segment not only being these people that suffer from these diseases, but also the people that take care of them, the caretakers, we've developed a unique value proposition, being that we are going to eliminate all these issues that we have stated. We're going to make these people not only more independent, but we're also going to increase their self-esteem. Because when we released our survey initially, the responses that we got, what we noticed is that these people, they often said that they were really embarrassed every single time that they asked someone to open their bottle caps for them. You know, it really takes a toll on their mental health, and it's just like, it's so aggravating for them having to ask people to open a bottle cap for them every single time they want it done. So with that, our solution, again, being SimplyCap, it's going to have the gyroscopic design. You're
You're going to be able to open and close it on an as-needed basis in order to prevent spilling. And then with our channels, so what we're looking at right now is we want to start a website. We want to get our product online. We're focusing mainly our sales to be online-based. And after that, once we get that all set in stone, we're also going to look into getting our product in person to stores as well. So that's going to be anywhere like supermarkets, drugstores, assisted living facilities, really anywhere we deem to be the most valuable for our product. Again, our revenue streams. So starting out, it's obviously going to be our product being sold online, but eventually, once we got that all set, we're also going to look into any sort of partnerships that we can get, and we're also potentially looking at starting a Kickstarter. And lastly, our cost structure. So first, what we're going to focus on, we're going to find a fixed product cost. Once we've done that, we're going to focus on shipping and advertising costs. And then lastly, we're going to focus on advertising online once we're ready.
So to bring you into our costs, our startup costs are going to be our website and our prototype. So for the website, we're not too worried about that yet because we don't have a product ready to sell. So we're going to focus more on our prototype, which brings me into our cost of goods sold. So for the cost of goods sold, we're focusing on our materials, which we're thinking using mostly silicone and plastic as our base material. And then our manufacturing, we're going to start getting in contact with manufacturers pretty soon, see what manufacturers will be best for us, probably locally, if they have the right materials for us, and then how much it's going to cost us to work with those manufacturers. So then we have our selling, general, and administrative costs. That would mostly be advertising for us. And we're thinking of just advertising on social media, like Facebook, maybe Instagram, and then we'll see what other platforms that we can use to advertise our product. So then for our estimate costs and sale prices, we figured out that the average cost to make a bottle cap is about 65 cents a piece, and then we're thinking of focusing on doing also packs of 10 because our customers will probably want to buy more than one if they like the product. So it would be $6.50 to produce one pack. And then our unit price, we want to sell our product for 99 cents a piece, so $9.99 a pack, and then our profit for that would be 34 cents a piece and $3.49 a pack, which would bring us to a 52% profit on each sale. So then for our projected revenue, we're hoping to sell individually 20 in our first month and then hopefully go up 10 each month. So like 30 in the second month and then continue on like that. And similar with the packs of 10, we would hope to sell 10 in the first month and then 5 each month. And even more if we could get that publicity. And then we're hoping for a 25% or more potential growth rate in year 2. And then so that would bring us to a total of 900 individually sold in year 1. So that would be almost $900 in sales. And then 450 packs of 10 in year 1, which would be almost $3,000 in sales. And then that would bring our total to 1,300, which would be a $4,000 total sale. We would hope for more, but that's like our minimum of what we would sell. And so for what's next, in order to get those sales, we would need to contact our manufacturers, see which manufacturers would be best to work with us personally, and then we get on working on a website, see what platforms we can use, see how much this is going to cost for us to get that website going, and then we'd start advertising after that, as I mentioned earlier. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, we're willing to take those.
All right. First of all, this is my 4th time I've done these incubators, and every single person either comes up with an app-based program or a B2C. This product is not a B2C product. This is a B2B product. Your customer is not a 10-pack at Walgreens. Your customer is Nestle and Coca-Cola and all of those companies, Blue Triton, so on and so forth. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you want to seriously look into the design. You want to come back next time with a solid looking design and the functionality of it and things of that nature. You also want to make sure that you look into patented and trademarks. The gentleman that invented the delayed wiper for Ford didn't get one dime for it, but he did 40 years later, and he got $40 million because it was a patented item that he came up with. So this really does solve the problem that you're describing, and it is a problem not just with Parkinson's, it's just age people in general. You want to get that trademarked right away. And then you want to look into various sizes and honestly mass production and partnering with the producer. So the couple of people that you spoke to don't necessarily need to be your competition, they can really be your partner, your producer. So, okay?
Great. Just, I think you guys did a really nice job. I'll point out a couple of things I think you did really well. I thought it was nice that you brought in the caregiver, because this isn't just about the people that are struggling with the disease, but it's about their family. So I thought that was a really nice, I thought you guys did a nice job. People often forget the caregiver, and the caregiver is a really important part of your market, because they're the ones who drive a good portion of the decisions in healthcare. I also thought that you did a nice job getting to the heart of what really is the issue here, and talking about, like, these people just want independence and they want their self-esteem. So I thought you guys did a nice job doing your research and understanding what's at the core of all of this. I agree that with Jerry that I was a little bit confused, like, how exactly does it work? What exactly does it look like? So having a prototype is going to be really important. Before you even start talking to manufacturers or whatnot, I do think you need to come next time with that. And I don't think you need to, overdo it, but even just working with, and I don't know if any of you are in engineering or, but even just working with your 3D printers here, with your robotics team members or whatnot, I think you could probably cheaply do even some type of, 3D printed prototype or whatnot. I don't know, just something to consider. Advocacy groups are going to be your friend, so you should be looking at not only the Parkinson's disease advocacy group, but also, talk to the people for neuropathy. I mean, the advocacy groups are on the internet, but they would be a great partner. They're always looking for innovative ideas, and I think you can learn from them, and they can perhaps give you a little bit more insight into who your competition might be, or what your target market, your patients are really looking for. So those are just a few suggestions from my side. I don't know if you looked into the suggestion I gave you last time I was here, but I would encourage you to look into the story of Jimmy Choi. He's the Parkinson's patient who was the American Ninja Warrior, and he did articulate this problem not with a water bottle, but with a pill bottle. He articulated it on TikTok, and within 72 hours, it was an open sourced, build on one another's ideas, and he had a prototype within 72 hours. So look at his challenge, learn from his challenge. His story is interesting. So, but really nice job. Thank you.
The only thing I'd add is it is exactly that last piece. You probably had the nicest story in building the best story, and you're starting at a macro level and talking about something that affects just about everybody, either personally or indirectly through a friend or family member, and then bringing that down and say, okay, what are we going to solve? And then it's that last piece. Okay, what exactly is it? Is it the water bottle? Is it the condiment bottle? Is it the cleaning bottle? What specific 1, 2, or 3 things are you going to solve? And is that targeted toward people that are in assisted living, the people that are still independently living, or where does it fit on the spectrum? But I think if you do that, that will really solidify the story, bring it all together, and then lead into what exactly will that prototype, the 1 or 2 or 3, I wouldn't go crazy and try to narrow it down on 1 or 2 or 3 solutions that then people can see and look and feel and touch and understand how it's going to work, and visualize their loved one using it, and what a great thing that will be for them. I think that will tie it all together. But really nice story and really nice idea.
So I just have some advice for all of you. So I probably make 5 presentations a week to CEOs, CMOs, all that stuff. Proofread and spell check. I notice misspelling on almost every one. Not that I'm a grammar teacher, but just be careful of that, because that could actually literally lose a deal. I've seen it happen.
Really nice job.
Nice job, SimplyCap. Now we have Recraft
Furniture coming up to present. They're the only senior group here to present. So good luck, guys.
Aiden, is this the last one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If you're bailing, bail now. No? Good luck, I hope you catch a flight.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to Recraft Furniture's here to share back. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the company, Recraft is a sustainable cardboard furniture company that focuses on reducing furniture waste by replacing traditional furniture with our cardboard models in order to reduce furniture waste across the United States. So a little bit about us. I'm Eli Melnick. I'm a senior at Carmel Catholic High School. This is my second year in the Business Incubator program, and I am a co-founder of Recraft Furniture.
I'm Luke Pank. I'm also a senior at Carmel Catholic, and I'm also a co-founder here at Recraft Furniture. I'm Trevor Caslam, and this is my first year here.
So since last time we've seen you, we have made a new prototype as well as come into contact with a new manufacturer. We've also launched a website and are working to launch our crowdfunding campaign. We have done some development in our outreach as well as obtained some new legal documentation, and we'll be closing out the presentation today by talking about the next steps, what we hope to accomplish over the rest of this semester.
So this year, we've created a new prototype. At the beginning of this year, our old manufacturer, Corkback, really lacked the responsiveness we needed, and even before that, we realized they really didn't have the tools to help us succeed as a business at this stage. So we had to cut our ties with Corkback. We began searching, and what we found was Welch Packaging Group. Now, Welch Packaging Group is another local packaging manufacturer. It's about 45 minutes away, and they really have a big focus on eco-friendliness and sustainability. And from our first call with them, we really knew they understood our problem and what we needed as a business at this stage. And they're the ones who helped us create this new prototype you can see here and in front of you. As you can see, we went with the modular design, where you can just buy them as these, and they stack up so they can fit in almost any space you need. But one major change is the top is now detachable. As you can see here, the top comes off, and you just need one top for stack. Another major change we made is we went with a flat design. Now this helps it be manufactured a lot cheaper than before, and it just folds up like origami almost into a really strong prototype with all those layers of cardboard layered together. Some of the improvements we've made, as I said before, it's more durable. With our last prototype, as you can see here, we noticed that over time, since it was glued together, it would delaminate with lots of weight on it, and that would just ruin the whole product over like after a couple months. So now with the folded together, we found with our testing, it stays with the same strength over time, and it's really just a very durable prototype. We also have now included a locking mechanism, so when you stack them, you don't have to worry about them sliding or anything. You can see here, here's the locking mechanism. It just latch together like that very easily. We've also made these much cheaper. Our last prototype was being sold to us at about $14 per unit, which was just way too high for us. But this new prototype is only at $359 per unit for the shelving units, and for the tops, they're at $169 per unit, which allows us to really easily fit in the price range we want to be in. And lastly, one more improvement, we just think this looks like a much more finished product. It just looks better and something that someone would be happy to have in their home. Another major thing we've done this year is we've created our website. Now our website is very important to us because it's going to be our main avenue of sales and a huge part of our marketing. The website we have launched right now is a very early version of it, but behind the scenes we are working hard to create a website that looks good and works really well. But if you would like to visit this early version, you can scan this QR code or visit recraftfurniturecode.com.
Now, let's talk a little bit about funding. So the price of our first 2 runs of 250 units each would be around $5,000, which is a little high for what we want. We have to consider the price of die cuts and setting up the machines to print our cardboard as a part of this price. So we looked at crowdfunding to obtain the funds in order to do our first 2 runs of the product. The website we decided on was Indiegogo. Now, there's 2 main competitors in the crowdfunding business. One is Kickstarter, and one is Indiegogo. We decided to go with Indiegogo simply for the fact that if you don't reach your funding goal, you still get to keep the profits you've raised, whereas with Kickstarter, you don't. So we know that $5,000 is setting the bar a little bit high for a company that probably nobody's ever heard of. So we're hoping that even if we don't manage to reach our $5,000 goal in 60 days of our campaign, we'll still be able to have enough money to do our first run and be able to use the money from the first run to fund our second run of the product. Now, up here you can see we just have a brief overview of who we are as a company that you can find on the Indiegogo website. It just explains who we are and gives some statistics for why there is a problem, and then what we're going to do with the funding that we receive to fix the problem and the impact we hope to make.
So over the past year, we've done some outreach, and as we've stated in the past, we're talking to Carthage College and University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. We'd like to start with Carthage College, as it's smaller, and if it's successful there, we would expand to Whitewater, but that's a little bit down the line, so while we're in the process of that, we've attempted to reach out to primary schools such as Kindergarten Learning Center, which is a preschool, and the Goddard School, which is a daycare facility. We'd like to get in there as soon as possible so that we can get Recraft off the ground and get the money for our purpose. And then moving on to the legal, as we've grown Recraft, we've realized we need legal coverage, which is why we filed for an LLC so that we can officially do business.
So what does the future look like for Recraft? Over the course of this semester, our top priority is to finalize our website and get our Indiegogo campaign off the ground. The Indiegogo campaign will be an organic source of marketing for us, since if people invest in the company, the more attention it gets on the website, the higher it'll get pushed, and the more people will be redirected to our website. Once we obtain our hopefully $5,000 funding goal, we'll have enough money to fund our first 2 runs of the product, which we hope to sell directly on our website. And once we actually sell 2 runs of 250 units, we'll be able to turn our first profit, which will hopefully be able to reinvest back in the company and continue to grow. That's all from us today. Thank you guys. And if you have any questions, we'll be here.
I don't have any questions, just a couple comments. I think, I've seen you guys grow over the last couple of years. I think you've done a really nice job, obviously learning, adapting, pivoting, and making your product just better and stronger. So really, really nice job listening to the feedback and continuing to grow. I think you've also grown in your presentation skills and how you present the company. So really well done. You should be proud of yourselves. Just a question, what do you expect to do with this when you go off to college? What's going to happen?
Well, we really would like to continue throughout college. I think hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be ready to start selling. We just need really the main issue for us right now is obtaining these funds to purchase the first 2 runs of these so we can actually start selling. So I think we'd like to just continue to grow this and then make more than just the shelving units, other forms of furniture, so we can really have that good impact on the environment and just grow as a company.
Good.
Can you use recycled cardboard?
It actually, yes, it is recycled cardboard.
It is recycled already.
Welch Packaging makes, all their cardboard is 100% recycled.
Okay. And then for shipping it, what's the, that's the top, right, over there, but then that's the box, so how does that fold for shipment?
We're thinking we're going to fold it. We still haven't figured out like an exact way we're going to fold it, but we're going to fold it up somehow.
So it's a smaller
You
footprint.
can't collapse it a lot from that side.
Okay.
Yeah. It's super lightweight, so it also helps the shipping expenses as well.
Great. No, I would encourage you to keep going and maybe even explore. You didn't look at like Lake Forest College or talk to some of the people closer by maybe to see if you could get some traction locally. But it's exciting to see it grow and continue to take off. So well done.
Thank you guys.
We're trying to do the presentations. So if you have anything to say? Well, thank you panelists also for your insight. Seems like it's really exciting, and we'll see you back. I don't know, in 5 minutes.